over 50 years, the Dalai Lama has lived in exile in India, and he's lived quite a life. He's met with the last 4 presidents, and when he was a child, FDR gave him a beautiful Patek Philippe pocket watch, which he still has to this day. And George W. Bush gave him an even greater gift by painting his portrait, this portrait. And I give Bush's skills as an artist the same review I give his time as president. Not bad for a 5-year-old. Now, the Dalai Lama officially stepped down from running the Tibetan government in exile in 2011, but he is still of profound importance to the Tibetan people as a spiritual leader and a figurehead. And here is where this story gets absolutely amazing, because he's 81 years old, so thoughts have inevitably turned to his next reincarnation. But it turns out there's a bit of a problem with that, and let me explain. Broadly speaking, when the Dalai Lama dies, he reincarnates as a child somewhere on Earth. And traditionally, a key person in the process of finding him is someone called the Panchen Lama. And when the Panchen Lama dies, the Dalai Lama plays a similar role in finding him, and so on and so on. They're basically playing a Buddhist version of hide and seek. So the 9th Panchen Lama helped identify the current Dalai Lama, who in turn identified this 6-year-old boy as the Panchen Lama. But this is where it starts to get tricky, because that boy has not been seen in more than 20 years.
These are the last known pictures of Gedun Choki Nima, the boy chosen to be Panchen Lama. The Chinese authorities rejected his appointment, arrested the boy and his family.
In an attempt to discredit the Dalai Lama's choice of one of Tibet's top Buddhist spiritual leaders, Chinese officials used a 200-year-old ceremony to name their own Panchen Lama.
Yes, they made their own fake Panchen Lama. They basically counterfeited a religious leader like a knockoff handbag. That doesn't say coach, that says cough. And China's tactics here are obvious. If they control the Panchen Lama, they can use him to pick a new Dalai Lama who might, completely coincidentally, be very favourable to the Chinese government. Meanwhile, the Dalai Lama, understandably, is pretty pissed off about this.
One thing that I want to make clear, that as far as my own rebirth is concerned, the final authority is myself, no one else. And obviously, not Chinese communist.
Yeah, that is some forceful language too. He's basically saying they can make that decision over my dead body, except, you know, specifically not that. He's now actually saying that he will either not reincarnate as the Dalai Lama at all, or if he does, it won't be inside Chinese-controlled Tibet, it will be somewhere else, which is incredible, because that means that when he dies, we could plausibly wind up with 2 rival Dalai Lamas, and the already fraught situation in Tibet could spiral out of control. And for the time being, there is really only one person who can fill you in on what is happening in the Dalai Lama's head. But he lives in India, and that is a 14-hour flight away. And the reason I know that is I went to speak to the Dalai Lama in India. Enjoy.